Hi friends, let's explore the most efficient ways to debug code for web developers. When it comes to debugging, the most common approach is to write console.log statements all over the code and check the result on the browser console. But as your app gets larger and has more functions working together, it becomes hard to manage all those console statements. And sometimes you may not even know where the problem is. In such cases, using a debugger can be a better idea. Let's check this example. I have two inputs, username and age, and when I click on this button, I want to write the username and age inside this p tag. Of course, it's a basic example, but it's easier to understand how JavaScript debugger works. I'm selecting all my HTML elements here, and using these functions, I'm getting the username and the age. Let's create a click event and write them inside this result tag. I will get the username and age, and using text content, I can show them in my p tag. Let's see. I will click, and as you can see, nothing happens. The first thing you might think is to write console.log here and test the event listener. I will click again. As you can see, the button is null because I've used the wrong class name. Let's fix the bug and try again. Click event works, but it's not what we were expecting. So the problem should be in my inputs. I will come here again and check the username. As you realize, instead of input value, it shows the HTML element. Let's say it's not a simple example and you don't know how to get the value because it's not showing on the console. So using console.log statement is easy, but sometimes it's hard to figure out what the problem is. The more professional way is using a debugger. It basically allows you to set breakpoints directly in your code and stop the execution at that point so you can investigate your code step by step. What I mean by that? Let me show you and you are gonna understand better. Instead of this console log, I will write here debugger. Let's refresh the page and try again. As soon as I click the button, this source tab shows up and highlights the line where the execution stops. Right now I can check how my code runs step by step. Let me zoom out. When I click this button, it's gonna show the next step. If I click one more, it's gonna call this function and we'll be able to see what this function returns. Right now we are in this function. Let's see the result. As you can see, it returns an input element that has all these properties, and now I know which one I should use to see my username. I will come here and add this value. And it works as expected. And you can do exactly the same thing using VsCode debugger. I will add back my debugger and click on this debug icon, run and debug. And we can choose any debugger here. And again, I will choose Chrome. And to use it on my VsCode, the only thing I should do is write here the URL or the port number that my app is working on. Let's run. As you can see, our app has stopped here, and using this button, I can do the same thing. Let me give another example. If I add here one more function and show the next age of the user using this function, next age, and as you can see, we have another problem here. You can use a debugger statement or simply add here a breakpoint and investigate this function. As you realize, the number is 22, but inside quotes. And obviously, the reason why it's not increasing the number is the type of the variable is a string. So if I come here and change the input type, the problem will be solved. It's a more professional way to debug your code, but as you can see, using the debugger keyword and checking all the code to find the problem takes a lot of time. But luckily, there's an awesome VsCode extension that we can debug our code without any extra steps. If you watched my VsCode extensions video, you will remember Console Ninja. It's definitely one of my favorites and saves me tons of time during my coding sessions. So let me show you some of its features that I didn't mention before, and you can see how easy to debug your code using only one extension. Let's take this back, and I will console.log username. And when I click the button, it shows the input element here, and we can see all its properties easily. Or I can console.log the age, or the type of the next age. Let's make it text again and check. And the results are here. So we don't have to waste any time using browser console. We can see everything directly in our code editor. This is the main feature of the extension, but it has many advanced features. Let me give you some examples. For example, in this React component, I have a basic count state, and when I click on this button, it's gonna increase the number. But I want to add here a condition. If the number is greater than 2, it's gonna throw an error. Let's console.log this state and click this button 4 times. As you can see, it shows the history of the state. It was 0 at the beginning, then 1, 2, and 3. And here we can see the error without opening the console. If I remove this import statement, for example, it's gonna warn me that the use state is not defined. Let me show you another feature. I have some functions here. This one doubles the given number, and this one just increases. And in this function, there is a condition. If the number is greater than 5, it calls the increase function. If not, it doubles the number first and after increases. So if I say calculate 2, it's gonna run this block. To see the result, you don't actually have to write a console.log statement. If you come here and create a breakpoint, you can see what this statement returns. And I can do the same thing for a function. I will create a breakpoint for this function. I can actually use F9 key as a shortcut. As you can see, it shows all the results line by line. And on the left hand side, you can see which line is actually working. Our number is 2, so this line is not working. This is why it's gray. And if I come here and say, if the number is 10, throw an error. Let's change the number. And right now this block is running, but there is an error. If I give here a log point, I can see the source of the error. Let's create a number here, calculate 2 plus 1. If I give here a log point, it will show the result, but also you can give a log point for a specific part. Let's say I just want to see the value of the calculate 2, so I will use Shift and F9 keys, and it's going to create a log point here, so I can see the calculation. And I want to show one more thing about this log point, and it's one of my favorites. Let's create a number state. It's gonna be 1. And when I click the button, I will increase the number. Let's create a useEffect hook, and the dependency will be this number. Basically, whenever this number changes, this useEffect will be triggered. If I use a log point here, it shows what triggers this hook. Let's increase the number, and we can see the dependency changes. And it's really useful when you have multiple dependencies or the dependency comes from any API. And the last thing I want to mention is console outputs. I have data here and a query state. Using this input, I'm changing the query, and using the query, I'm filtering my products. Before writing the filtered products in your HTML, you might want to test it first. Let's create log points for this state and for this filtered data. And I'm gonna click on this ninja button, and here you can see all the log history and search for any specific item. And here we can add values that we want to watch. What I mean by that? I will hover over my query and pin it to values. It's here. I will do the same thing for filtered data. And right now I can watch my values and see the changes right away. Let's try. I'll write a search query. As you can see, all the changes are on my VsCode. And if there is a bug or any other problem, it's easier to follow and debug. It's a great extension that will prevent you from wasting your time when debugging your code. Everything you need to know is right into your code editor. And it works with almost all important JavaScript libraries and tools. By the way, I created this React app using the latest version of Bun and Vite, and it works seamlessly. So if you haven't tried Console Ninja, you can use the link in the description and install it for free. Okay guys, that's all. I hope it will help you with your future projects. You can support Lama by joining the channel or using the link in the description below. Don't forget to follow Lama's social media accounts. I hope I'll see you in the next tutorial. Goodbye.